Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching. I'm in the middle of training and starting up the team today. Today is going to be pretty much a whole day of of training and just like hands-on type of work. So sorry if you see me in this puncher. It's the most convenient thing ever. So yesterday I got to go see and meet Matthew Hussey. I think he is such a legendary marketer. Definitely learned a lot from his video. There is some gold to it, and it was just amazing to be able to see him in live in person. Initially, I actually I was so overwhelmed with work. I was like, I really have no energy to go. I got dressed and everything, and I'm like, I just want to get shit done at home. And then I was like, you know what? I want to get out of this sort of icky feeling that you need to sort of bring yourself out, get some clarification, get some clarity and clear your mind, then go back and attack it hard on. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm just going to take an Uber and I'm going to go to the event. And it was like a room filled with ladies, like over 500 ladies. I managed to get front row seat and squeeze in a photo with him. He's definitely more better looking in person. I can't believe he's dating the chick from, it's called Camilla, the song Havana. It's one of my favorite songs. I think one of everyone's favorite song. I thought it was really amazing. The take back with that event was he gave a lot of metaphors. One dragged on for a lot longer. Like he mentioned soccer. Everyone's like the World Cup, and then all the ladies, because we're all ladies and not many of us follow sports, and it's just like, oh god. And it dragged on for a long time, but it got to a point. And I think with metaphors and stories, they really stick in people's head, because it definitely stuck in my head. Even though I was bored when he spoke about it, but then later on when he got to the point, it made sense. And I remember, I'm like, okay, well, to get to the World Cup, it takes 4 years, and then then another 4 years to then go back and give it another crack. And he related to dating. So this lady said that she would approach a guy and then she would get rejected, and then she would how can I bounce back really quickly? And he goes and gave that metaphor of the World Cup takes 4 years to then go back and do it again. He goes, all you need to do is turn to this guy, he rejects you, go 90 degree and say next. I thought it was amazing. That was pretty cool, and definitely learned a lot. I'll add a video, I think I got a bit of his really amazing story. He mentioned something about building a castle, and if you're dating, the amount of investment they put, then you start investing. Too many times, and I've done this in the past, where when you like someone so much as a woman, we just give our all, and we give our all time, everything, and there's nothing to sort of work for. So I think having a balanced sort of relationship where both of you are building the castle. He gave the metaphor of building a castle together, not just the female just building, tick, 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 tick. And he did the visualization of just sitting there ding, 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 building the castle, the woman building the castle by himself. I thought it was pretty funny and really definitely stuck in my head. It was really cool. If you ever get a chance to meet Matthew Hussey in live, definitely go there. I remember when I got to the event, it was so funny. I got there early because I don't want to sit in the back of the room, and I know the room is massive and I hate sitting in the back of the room. I like to get a good view. And I was in the elevator, and it was a bunch of girls, and it was in Myers. It was interesting. I've never been to Myers upstairs. I didn't know they had an event room. And I was in the elevator, and I was still while during the Uber ride to the event, I had to dissolve a lot of things because I was so stressed out with work, and I needed to really just calm down. I told the Uber driver, I'm like, don't worry, I'll give you a 5. I just want you to be I just want you to give me a moment. I just need that silence. I don't mean to be rude, but yet, I really appreciate, because he just kept asking questions. I just told him I had a bad day. I just want to talk about it. And yeah, so sometimes it's just telling them in advance so they don't think you're rude, and I don't want to get rated low on my Uber. Anyways, so when I was in the Uber, got there, and then I was like, okay, cool, I'm feeling better, like my mind's clear, I'm ready to be in the zone. We're in the elevator, and then I was like, so who here is going to Matthew Hussey's event? And then one of the girls, I think we all are. It was like about 10 girls in there. And then there was two ladies in the front, a little bit older. And then they were like, you know, they just looked at me and sort of rolled their eyes. I was like, okay, geez. But I don't really take offense on how people react. I'm me. I'm like, you can react whatever you want. Like, you can judge me whatever you need, because I'm me. I'm doing me. I'm not embarrassed. And then I'm like, oh, awesome. And I'm like really hyped, because I'm like, hey, I got out of the house. And I'm quite excited now. Now it's like, oh. And then I was like, oh, who here is single? Because I really want to know, is there a lot of single people, a lot of people in the relationship? And then everyone's like, I think we all are. You know, one of the girls was saying. And then they all laughed. Like, everybody laughed in the elevator except for the two ladies in the front. And she goes, I wonder what we're going to be expecting from Matthew. You know, I've watched him so much on YouTube. And the two ladies was like, oh, well, I guess you have to find out. And it was so funny, because they were like so stuck up. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then when we got into the front of the door, obviously we're still early, so everyone's sort of waiting outside the line to line up to go inside. And then so I was just chatting to the security guy. I was like, hey, you know, what time does the event start? The event starts at 7 or 6:30. And then so everyone gets, the door opens, I think near 7. It's always like that. And so we got there, and obviously the door was closed, and the two ladies that was in front, they're like, oh, whatever they said to the security guard, and they walked through because I think they're part of whatever. I remember seeing these cookies on the side of the table. I'm like, oh, cookies. I'm like, free cookies? You know, because I haven't eaten all day. I only had like one meal that I quickly rushed just before the event, because I know I needed to eat, otherwise I'm going to cop a headache. So I was like, oh, cookie. And then I looked at it. I'm like, am I in the wrong event? It said single wives. And I'm like, single wives? How does that make sense? Anyways. And then I was like, oh, they're like, no, this is the right event. I'm like, isn't this a Matthew Hussey? Why is it single wives? They're like, oh, no, he's promoting a video, a show in Australia. I was like, oh. And then things start to click. I'm like, oh, those ladies. Oh. And then that's why he's going to Australia. I'm like, silly me, I don't watch TV. I'm like, makes sense now. I'm like, oh, that's why those ladies didn't say much, because they were part of the TV show. So it turns out those ladies were in the actor, not the, I don't know what you call it, the reality TV show of the single wives. How cool was that? And so, you know, because I was sitting in the front row, and they were sitting this side and I was sitting this side, and it was really cool. It was so many people. There was such, and you know, like, he gave questions near the end of the seminar. And, you know, it was pretty cool questions, and you start reflecting on your own, like, experiences and stuff like that. And, yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I was so glad I got out of the house. Like, it really made my night. It made my week. Yeah. So I thought I'd share that with you. So I do believe, like, when you run a business and when you get to that stage where, you know, it's getting full on, you still want that balance. I think a lot of people talk about, you know, being heads down and just working all the time. That won't be an inspiring life. I'm not saying don't put your heads down and work. There's got to be days where you got to do that, but like having, you know, like the people that you care about, giving them some time and putting effort in, I think is definitely really important for the long run. I remember, you know, in my mid-20s, I, you know, heads down and work, and it got to the point where I'm like, I already got everything I want, like, what now? Like, and I didn't create a life that I actually am inspired to live. It kind of gets like boring, just no friends, no nothing, and then you put your head down in the dumps, like, and then, you know, obviously I got out of it, and I did a lot of reflection, and then now that I'm creating a life a little bit more inspiring, in the sense where you do make time for the people you care about, whether that be your family, or that your friends, or even your partner. I think it's definitely important. So thought I would squeeze that little motivation in.
Don't invest in someone based on how much you like them. Invest in someone based on how much they invest in you. Now, I think that's really powerful. I think we should always remember it, because I think we do the opposite to that. We simply invest more because we really like them. That's super dangerous. You can really get hurt that way. You can waste your life that way. It's a recipe for unrequited love, which I think is one of the most disgusting concepts in the romantic vein, is this idea of unrequited love. It's not romantic, it's really, really silly and disastrous and masochistic. But when you think about that concept, don't invest in someone based on how much you like them, invest in them based on how much they invest in you. I think about it this way. And when I started thinking about it this way, it stuck with me. I think this will stick with you too. I think of when she says there's this guy that we have an amazing connection with. Anytime you have someone you have an amazing connection with, I think about it as two people who have found a really cool plot of land. And that plot of land might be great because of what's surrounding it. It's got great forest around it. It has this amazing view over the ocean, or it's just a beautiful place to build. But it's still just a plot of land right now. You and someone else having a connection is just a plot of land. Here's what we need. We need someone who comes to that plot of land with us and says, hey, what do you think about building a castle here? And you say, yeah, that sounds pretty good, we should do that. Mm-hmm. So you start building a castle together. You build and you build and you build. And over time the castle gets bigger and more ornate, and so these secret rooms in it that only the two of you know about because you built it together, and you built these secret passageways, and you add layers to it, turrets, and spiral staircases, and over time the weather starts to discolor some of the stones in unique ways that make this castle now different from any other castle because of those unique weathering marks. It becomes your castle, and it becomes special because the two of you built it together. That's what's special. You build a castle together. That's, to me, that's beautiful. Love at first sight. We have an amazing connection. Where is he? Where is he? Is he building with you? Because here's what I see. Tons of women building. And then the guy does what he does in this situation. This is the guy who's 6 weeks into not really doing anything, not investing in you, not calling you, not being there for you, not showing up when you needed him. Texts you something like, thinking of you, missing you. Hey, what's going on with you? And it's the equivalent of a builder who didn't show up to work for the last 6 weeks, calling in and going, how's the castle going? You need a building partner. You need a building partner.